Good morning. It's Friday morning and time for the weekly vlog. I've decided to do a new format this week. Instead of giving you several little recordings on my phone of good morning with my heating pad and I'm not awake yet, I thought I'd sit down and do it all in one sitting. And a lot of interesting things going on in our lives, a lot of personal things that I choose not to share or talk about publicly. Simply because I don't want this to turn into my personal rant and counseling therapy session. Excuse me. I've got my coffee. We're going to have a coffee talk. There's a cold going around. It always goes around after school starts and everybody passes it to everybody. And I'm just getting over the dregs of that. So excuse my voice. I'll be back to recording very soon, but the past week I haven't been able to record because I'm resting my voice. Biggest item in the news this week has been the Kavanaugh hearings. Country's very divided on this. I'm going to go ahead and share briefly. Me too. I was sexually assaulted a number of times in my childhood. I didn't report it to the authorities, because in the area I lived and the time that it was, the authorities didn't care. Domestic violence was not something that was investigated. The cops stayed away from it. The lawyers stayed away from it. When I did tell my mother about it, I was told that good girls didn't get in that situation. And if I had been a good girl, I wouldn't have been in a situation where that could have happened to me. And boys just can't control themselves. And so it's the victim's responsibility to make sure they don't do anything to incite, antagonize, or draw attention from boys, because they aren't responsible for the things they do to women. There are several studies online that you can go research. I'm not making this an informational blog and citing references, but there's a lot coming across my feeds about studies that have been done about false accusations. 2 to 10% of the accusations made actually turn out to be false. And they have profiled these false accusers. And they do have a personality type. They have markers that say, okay, they've done this, 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 and this. You know, maybe we need to investigate a little closer. So that means that 90 to 98% of the accusations that are made are actually true. Growing up, like I said, good girls didn't get in those positions. And if you were sexually assaulted, it was the victim's fault for allowing it to happen. I never saw justice. I was told I had to forgive my attacker because God said so. And so, there we go. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about, because the news is so rich with triggers. PTSD is real. It's not just for combat veterans. And if you don't have it, sometimes it can be hard to understand it. And you think, well, you just need a thicker skin. You know, you need to just let it go. In severe traumatic situations, we can't just let it go. Would you tell a combat veteran to let it go? I've seen things that I really never want to talk about that were along the lines of what a combat veteran has seen. And I've never been in the service. So I implore that those of you who are brushing off the effect this is having on so many of us in the country, and with triggers and everything else, I implore you to please research PTSD and research triggers. They're real. For example, one of my triggers is the smell of watermelon. If I smell watermelon, I become violently physically ill. It's not an allergy. I can't just pop a Benadryl or, something like that and get over it. because it is a psychological trigger. It brings back a memory of a time that was very traumatic. Something as simple as that. I wish I could grow thicker skin. I've tried to eat watermelon. I've tried to smell watermelon. I just can't do it. I become physically, violently ill. So, go a little easy on us and take a step back and realize, well, my mom always said, when you have two people having a discussion, and one person is calm and rational and straightforward, and the other person is red in the face, screaming and yelling and denying and defensive, the defensive, yelling, screaming one is the one with something to hide. And the calm, rational person knows they are right. I think if you look around, you'll see that's pretty much true. In other news, we are going to a friend of a friend's wedding this weekend, CJ and I, and getting out of the house a little more. That's about all that's going on. That's about all I wanted to talk about this week. I'm hoping to get back to my crafting and get back to recording for the Christmas album and things like that. But as you can hear, my voice is a little shaky today. I thank you. I thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a good week.